Howdy, everybody. We're back for another week. I hope everyone had a good weekend and got out and did a little fishing in that warm weather before this cold snap hit. But how's it going, BJ, Adam?
Pretty good, man.
Good.
I think we're looking back at some down south here anyways. We're looking back at nice weather again this weekend, so I'm looking forward to it. But truck was drifted in pretty good this morning.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
was bad.
this morning, but it's going to be nice again.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice again this weekend. But she was blowing this morning.
Oh, last night was crazy. Coming home from work, you can't even see the road. People are just ditched everywhere, man.
Yeah, eh?
Like we're doing 60 on the highway.
That's what I was telling my wife. Like, hopefully, guys weren't out fishing in that because it was so nice out, and then just like
Oh, man.
just burned, right? And they wouldn't be prepared for that.
No,
Yeah,
that rain, then snow, then wind. It was just a whiteout.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It can be tough getting out when you're in that condition.
Yeah, you definitely need that GPS to get off the lake safely so you're going the right direction, not out to some deep water where there's some lesser ice or something.
doing circles around your old spot.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
doing circles.
I've been there, done that. I went out one morning in a snowstorm with my buddy, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. And he's a good buddy of mine. We walk all the way out to where I think we're supposed to be, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think we got to keep going. We ended up walking clear across the lake. Luckily, it was a pretty small lake, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely, GPS for sure.
Well, it's like when I went out with Wes and Sean, they took the first trip out on the sled, and Wes had a tough time coming back and finding me because his tracks were all blown over. I'm pretty sure they were pretty close to leaving me out there.
You never know with those guys. They seem pretty wild.
Yeah.
No,
So since
no,
we're
go ahead.
talking about trying to get off the ice and on the ice, what do you guys think of some things you need to have in your vehicle, your quad, or your sled so you can be safe if something like that happens?
Number one, small shovel, dig yourself out. Good shovel.
Absolutely not something flimsy that's just going to break, because I've definitely seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing, battery booster pack. They're super handy to have. I mean, we had a really cold snap there for a couple of weeks, and my truck ended up dead both weekends. So without that, I'd be in some trouble for sure.
Yeah, hand warmers. Yeah, exactly.
The first weekend, luckily, Brent, a buddy of mine, Brendan, was out there, and he was able to boost me, so that was good. But pick that up now and feel a lot more comfortable for sure.
I seen recently a guy putting ratchet straps on his tires when he was stuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a video about that on YouTube too, but I don't understand it. I can't remember it anyway.
I think it's just
and it just put like a block on his one edge of the tire so it would catch every time it went around.
Oh yeah, or I guess even like the ratchet and then the block would just constantly grab. That's a good idea.
Yeah, even the ratchet would just give you that different texture to maybe grab on that ice.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you definitely need a steel shovel because like those plastic shovels, and if you drive into a drift, man, you're working hard.
Yeah, you got to think those drifts are hard packs. No, I mean you're gonna have to work to get out. Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, and yeah,
and
toast
like
wall.
Yeah, you always got to be ready to spend the night. Like Kevin mentioned there, that's pretty much like the most important thing because you really can't count on other people. You always can, but you might be out of service or what have you. You gotta be ready to spend the night if that's the case, because a lot of times we're coming off, right, and it's late, say after dark. So you got to be ready to spend the night if you get in trouble for sure.
Yeah, I have a sleeping bag in there at least. Something that can keep you warm.
Yeah, I see Scott there saying that he had to rescue some people. Like I've seen there's been some pretty gnarly conditions up in Manitoba there, and a lot of guys are having some trouble because there's a lot of flood ice. I don't completely understand because I haven't been there, but it looks like you definitely need some good quality gear up there for sure.
Yeah, it's it's like anywhere. Like that storm that hit last night up here. You're on a lake, you get turned around. It's instant drifts. Like that was 70K winds and just whiteouts.
I can't remember who posted the picture, but the tracks were like a foot deep of water, a foot of snow. It was just brutal.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving on that.
No.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And I mean that's where, like I was saying earlier, these things come in handy because a lot of times like guys will be out there and they'll need a boost. And say you didn't drive on because you thought, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea. That's good to have because then you can still boost them and you don't have to risk going out there and getting stuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
F350, there you go. Yeah. You're good to go in that, Brody. Send her.
That thing's going to hop around.
You always take your friend's truck. That always helps.
That's a good idea. Be a co-pilot.
Yeah.
And bring a sleeping bag so you're just ready.
Yeah, oh yeah, always be ready.
Yeah, no, like even if you're towing someone out, make sure you got a jacket or some sort of weight over that sling. Because when it snaps, it's going to snap good. And sometimes it can come back. Slings don't usually come back that bad, but don't use a chain.
Yeah, and sometimes you need a shackle on the end. So regardless, you should have, I guess, like you say, a blanket over the top to keep that down if it should come loose on you.
Yeah, they'll totally kill you.
I've also seen guys
that comes through your back windshield. Yeah,
I've seen guys run them through ice anchors too. So it keeps them as well.
Oh, okay. That's smart. I never even thought of that for sure.
I used an auger once in the winch, but
yeah,
it worked. The auger didn't bend or anything.
Yeah.
Once you dig out enough and it's just more of a thing to help you move forward.
Yeah.
It's just that extra pressure. Like you can make those anchors I don't know if you've seen them when guys are wheeling out in the desert and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's got those hooks and that HSS.
Yeah.
So you can slide that through your hole, then hook it up, and that little shovel on the bottom will grab it.
Absolutely.
I was going to say the winch off that. Yeah.
That's definitely.
There's one meant for ice. You drop it down with a chain, and it goes below and sits like that on the ice.
Yeah.
And then you hook your winch to that. Just a good anchor point using the ice.
Absolutely. That's really smart.
Even if you can't, don't want a winch on your truck, don't want to spend the money, buy a cheap come-along at Princess Auto when they go on sale.
Absolutely.
Come-alongs will get you out of a lot of troubles.
Oh, for sure. And don't do that with the pistol bit or any of those plastic augers. Like you said, you need the old steel ones for that, eh?
Yeah, the old Jiffy 30 model.
There you go.
But I think ice fishermen are usually over-prepared for a lot of situations anyways. You know, we usually have good heaters, a good tent, food, good boots.
I think the majority do, but there is the newcomers.
Sure.
You see them I was taking a Honda Civic on 2 years ago. But you just Tokyo drift it and it is okay. But,
get that wave going.
There was guys that went through at Wabanum there, right?
Yeah.
They got to be new.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, a lot of times, when you go out, a lot of guys don't think okay, before I drive on, I should probably put my float suit on, or oh, we're heading out for the day, take the float suit off, take the boots off, jump in and drive off, and maybe something happens, unfortunately, and you don't have your float suit on, or you're just not prepared when you get out.
Yeah,
we're out for life. Did you guys see that video of the girl on the Rideau Canal there in the little Scion just sending it and then taking a selfie up there?
Yeah.
The videos when she was actually driving, she was all out on that car, going across that river.
I've seen probably 150 videos on TikTok, different angles of her.
Oh, really? I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, no, it's she's the star right now.
Oh, is she?
Oh, yeah. She got her 15 minutes.
That's
I
funny.
I heard down in on Ghost there they got some tracks set up for ice racing.
I
Like,
seen that. It looks like a little drift course there. It looks pretty cool, man.
3 of them now.
That's wild.
I'll have to take
Go
the
set,
Perch
go
out.
set up your tent in the middle of the track.
Yeah, I think we should meet there. I'll bring the Dakota, and we'll just send it.
Well, maybe we can have a race against the Perch.
Do you think that they would let us like build like just a long shot and then drill a long hole all the way along it, and we could just drive and troll out the windows?
I don't know, but it'd be epic
Just
if
run.
you got something.
That'd be pretty funny.
But
Yeah. Well, if you've seen Aaron Weave did that trolling video where they cut the circle in the ice, right?
I don't
And
think I've
they
seen that
just
one, but I have seen
trolled
it.
It's pretty good.
I've seen it
Trolled
like
them.
that when they
I'm pretty
spin
sure it's
the
him.
ice around too with the outboards on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
just hit
they
the-
had them over.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Oh,
it's-
really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. That's funny. I'll have to check that one out after this.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're new to the ice, have a tow rope, have a steel shovel, have tow points. Like
And always,
at least get it-
just because you see a truck on the ice, I mean, don't just assume, right? You can't always
Oh,
trust what everyone else is doing. So drill your way out and make sure that it's safe. If you don't know for sure, your first time to the lake for the year, or there's been a warm spell, say, just make sure you're checking. Don't just assume because you see other vehicles on the ice that you can send it to, because it might not be all right.
And check your speed. Stay under
Absolutely.
20 miles.
Absolutely. I see a lot of guys moving pretty quick. I mean, I usually just put her in drive and let her roll with the window down, and let the
Yeah,
ugly
exactly.
stick antenna guide me where I need to go. But I see some guys hauling pretty good, and you see them bounce off some of those drifts. Like, you can get in trouble like that.
What's the story on that ugly stick antenna? I've seen that picture.
You like that? I just think
Yeah.
it's cool, man. That was a rod. It was good to me for a lot of years, and then she finally let go on me, and I couldn't just throw her out, so I had to make her a part of something. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I tied a lure off the eyelet at one point, and it was like it had like a broken lip on it or something, like it was a Rapala. Someone cut it off.
Aaron
Lasted like a
point
week,
of-
maybe. Lasted about a week, and it got stolen.
When I used to drive my kids out, I used to put them in the back of my truck in the pickup box. I'd roll the window down, everything, belts off,
Oh yeah,
radio
seatbelts
down.
off, window down.
But the kids in the box, right? So they jump right off, and
Yeah.
I'm super paranoid about driving on ice. I'm not a big fan of it.
Absolutely.
I have been recently, like driving the other day. That was quite the experience, and there was a main road going off but I didn't want to go where everybody was, and I just kind of ventured off, and I stopped about 3 times though and drilled holes just to double check, because I've heard some pretty bad stories there.
Absolutely, and that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Greg's saying there, like you could 16-8 in no time. I mean, that happens. It can happen very easily, guys. You got to be careful for sure, and always just check where you're going. Don't make a big, long trek across the lake without. I mean, even if there is tracks, stop like BJ did and check, because you want to be safe for you. That's a really good idea with the kid. I mean, I don't have kids. That's a really smart idea with the kids, putting them in the box. I mean, obviously, if it's -40, you don't want to do that, but that's a really good idea. Like, they're quickly out, but always windows down, seatbelt off, and ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Even if you have a sunroof. I used to have my power wagon with the sunroof. I'd open it up as soon as we hit the ice, so I just go straight up.
Yeah.
Somebody that seen me out there this weekend, she messages me and said that where she was only 8 inches, and I was heading that direction. So,
Yeah,
like you said, never consistent.
Absolutely.
especially on a big lake like that, when you know that main lake is not good yet.
Yeah.
Not-
There was
not
people
good.
driving on the main lake. It was crazy. Not
Really?
me.
I heard someone did an ice report, and I'm like, why are you giving an ice report on the main lake? And like, to me on that lake, that's crazy. Just tell somebody, hey, send it across the bay. It's good now. No, it's not good.
If you spend any time out there, like you'll be spending an overnight, it's literally a highway coming off that lake, nonstop of people. Just a train of headlights, one after another. So I don't know. I was never comfortable driving on it, but I got to find some good spots for that tournament.
If you got faith, you got faith, I guess. Do your thing. There's some pretty cool, like, I see a lot of really cool ATVs and stuff these days, like heated cab ATVs or with tracks on them and stuff like that. And those look like super great options for getting on and off. They go they go quick enough for what you need to do, right? So,
my buddy on tracks, he brought it out this weekend on Cold Lake.
Yeah. But
he kept overheating, he said. So thick snow, they apparently have that a little bit of issue with it.
I think you got to watch with the tracks to make sure they match your engine size on those, because if they don't match your engine size, your RPMs are going to be off, and that will cause you to overheat because you're revving too high on that gear ratio.
Yeah.
And that he's going to be at a high, if it's not matched to your quad or your side-by-side, you're going to be revving too high all the time, and you're just going to overheat it, and you're not getting the wind flow through it at lower speeds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's something to watch when you're looking at tracks to purchase them. Because a buddy's got some for a smaller quad. He runs on his Rhino, his 660. So I was thinking about putting him on the 4-track, just because a 4-track on tracks would be silly. Like a 96 4-track will go anywhere on tracks, but
not gonna.
Pardon?
You won't need all that stuff for getting stuck.
Oh, I don't think you'd ever get stuck then. that thing in Skag, you just hop off of it and just walk beside it and just walk it through the Skag with your waders on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those side-by-sides are crazy. If you go out east there, like Winnipeg and stuff, half the 4x4 vans, or like expeditions, everything's on tracks out there. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Snow Bear, that's a pretty cool unit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, out there, it's kind of like fishing cold. They got the big ice heaves and stuff, so you got to watch those ice heaves. Like, always make sure before you cross an ice heave that it's good. Just hop out, check it that there is solid ice against it, and it's just not something that's going to just be floating there. You drop a tire into in 100-some feet of water.
And just because it was good when you went over it in the morning doesn't mean it's good in the evening. I mean, this weekend here, I was on Newell, and you could hear the heave all night, just whoo, 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 whoo. Like, it almost sounds like a dog, I guess you'd say. Like, I don't know, but you could hear it moving, which means just because it's safe at 1 hour, it's definitely not safe the other hour.
Definitely.
No, I've come across quite a bit of them on Cold Lake, and one of them was wide open, looked like it was ice. Another one was completely frozen over 3 feet. So you never know. Depends on how that ice folds against each other, right? Sometimes it's going to be thick under there, and
absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes there's nothing.
Yeah. No, it was like a creek running in this thing. It was wide open. We could have just fished it.
Yeah, and I've heard a story, actually. I think it was Mitch Walsh. He's a guy I follow. He had one open up right by his shack, and they ended up just going out and hammering burbs through it out there.
Wow. I think
that makes me a little nervous, but
for some reason, I think you fish by those breaks. It's always good fishing.
Usually they kind of correlate with a structure change, right? Like a depth change. Sorry,
or current or something.
Yeah, or current. Yeah.
You always see guys on the big lakes set up on ice heaves and along channels like that.
Yeah, because usually, like in my experience, anyways, like we don't have a whole lot of big lakes here, but say like Newell, there'll be a heave on a sharp depth change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Luckily, I've never put a vehicle in. I've put myself in, but we'll keep my fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
ever put a truck in, Mitch, or BJ? Well, BJ, you said you're cautious, so I imagine you haven't. But
I've barely even gotten a foot in. I was tippy toeing around, and Chris Costa's running around playing football with his dog. I was like,
Chris
dude,
is a legend, though, man. Chris is a legend.
this
I seen Amber posted that video the other day. Oh my god, that video makes me laugh. Where he's like, "Oh, these are some crazy handshakes, man."
It's a big fish. I don't know what I got.
Oh man, Chris makes me laugh. He's a great angler too. Like that's the thing. He's a great angler. He's absolutely hilarious. So funny.
Yeah. That I think I've only like put a foot through once.
Yeah.
And that was walking by some reeds on a trout pond for brookies.
I put myself in 3 times. That's my own fault though.
Like I said,
no, twice. Yeah, I think only twice. Maybe a foot in another time, but twice I think I put my whole body in.
Yeah, but I'm prepared to go in. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At this point, like I could fall in, and it's like, ha, dang, I'm going to the truck to put my other clothes on. So like that's the other thing. Like, always have spare clothes with you, and it's not necessarily smart to change into like. Definitely, like I'm not going to get into hypothermia and all that here. I've had it; it's horrible. Maybe go on YouTube and watch a video of you got to like warm your body up before you can just change clothes. Like you can't just change clothes. Yeah. It's not good for you. I mean, obviously there is times where it's not so bad and you can do that. But if you're absolutely soaked and you fell in and it's freezing cold, you need to warm up before you change. But always have a spare change of clothes and always have an option to get warm right away because, and like you said, be prepared to go in. If you're going to mess around early ice, I mean, obviously anymore, we don't really got to worry about it. But when you're messing around with 4 inches, 3 inches, 5 inches, like we talked about, it differentiates really quick. So that goes to 1 inch really quick or half an inch really quick where you can go in. And that's happened to me. And I mean, I'm prepared. So arms out and just kind of take it easy and pull yourself out and move away from the hole before you get up.
But there's a reason why we're all going out on the thin ice, right? It's early ice is best trout, right?
Big trout fishing.
Yeah, you got to get out there, and so make sure you're prepared and go.
Absolutely, man.
And there's a lot of videos. Everybody's done one now of a safety video, what to take, what to do.
Yeah.
There's many if you look them up.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great videos to watch where guys intentionally put themselves in, and you just got to be ready for it. The one thing, like Kevin says, brookies, early ice is a must. Absolutely. The great thing about it is if you do fall in, you're in super shallow water. Usually, if you're fishing for brookies and like rainbows or tigers or many of the trout species we got, you're going to be in super shallow water. I mean, under 10 feet where you don't necessarily got to worry. Hopefully there's not too much current in your lake there, but
so that comment about late ice there was just every single time I've seen a vehicle go through was 24, 26 inches of ice.
Rotten.
And late season and they hit a rotten spot.
Yeah, rotten spots are bad. And I mean, like I've been on 24 inches. Last season I was able to ice fish until late April, but I was on not horribly rotten. I was on rotten enough ice where I could only definitely be on foot. If someone would have drove a quad on there, they would have put themselves through. I'm a pretty small guy, so I was able to fish it. But yeah, you definitely got to watch late ice. That's a great comment by Craig there. Because almost every vehicle, obviously you see the people pushing it early season. A lot of times late ice is when you're seeing vehicles go through.
Oh, definitely. They just don't think about it.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it just looks like slush.
Yeah.
It's not clear anymore. if you don't got like a clear base anymore and it's just
All of a
greasy
sudden it's just
looking,
water everywhere. Not a good
stay
idea.
off it.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah. But let's talk some trout fishing. What do you guys want to start with?
What do we
trout
want to start with?
species?
You guys are Laker kings, so
Well,
BJ had a great video out with his son there the other day slaying Lakers. Let's talk
Yeah.
Lakers, boys.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, we but it's Cold Lake. Like I see him like Cold Lake, you can see kind of go out anywhere and just catch them right now, right? They're kind of everywhere, but yeah, he was working them, jigging them up.
Yeah, now you're scouting for the tournament, so I'm not going to ask you for too much info. But say
worry.
like a 30, 40-foot range of depth. Were you super deep or are you
Like,
staying kind of mid-range?
we fished between about 65 to 80.
Yeah.
Most of them were caught in that 75 kind
Okay.
of foot range. But in
Okay.
every hole, there was fish, there was chasers, there was markers.
Right.
There was, yeah, like the action was there, but they weren't committing to biting. Like you'd have them chase 80 feet, 60 feet, 50 feet, and then they would just turn. No
Yeah.
bite. And that's why I said, like, you know, it was good action, but it was slow. But the bait rods were just like, they were off the hook.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
That's some intense fishing when you got fish chasing you that far. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just watching the flasher and up, 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 up.
Well, that's the thing. Like all my buddies that were out there with us, they were kind of making them chase, but just reeling too slow. And
Yeah.
the Lakers just aren't interested. They want that, like, and so when I always say, like, you want to take it away from the fish. You want to make sure that you get away, and they'll hit you. They can go faster than you can reel.
Oh, absolutely. And like they're heavily pressured fish, so you don't like not. I shouldn't say heavily pressured fish, but they're pressured fish, so you don't want to give them a good look. You got to get it away from them. Get it away from them.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, no, I learned that this summer. Completely reeling faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many more hookups. Like I'm not like a super Laker angler. I've only started like 4 years ago, but like instantly hooked on the flasher when they're just ripping up after it. And you're just going and it's like, oh, when's it gonna hit? And you just wait for that anticipation and you're just like, get it.
And it's got to be pretty cool when they don't too, because then it's like, oh, flick that bail and get back after him. Like, go, go, go.
Oh, and you know what? Most people just give up and they're like, oh, damn, shit. And they like forget. I'm like, no, go back down.
No,
back
chase
down.
him, get him.
Chase them, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Like I love like watching Laker fishing videos and like watching people's flasher cameras. Like it is super, super intense to watch. I don't get to do it very often down here in the Southeast, but it's pretty cool to watch you guys hammer them. That's for sure. That video with your son is a must watch for everybody.
If you don't have a sonar, it's a tough bite. I'll tell you that.
I'd imagine it would be like you say, like you did have some luck on the sitting bait rods. But yeah, it would be super tough if you were jigging and you didn't have a flasher. I imagine it'd be pretty tough because they're just going to come in, stare at it. No.
Yeah, for sure. And they'll hit them, but like it's the difference between having one fish a day to 10 fish a day on that lake,
Right.
or even more. Like if Mitch knows what I'm talking about, in the summer, you should be getting 30 to 40 per person on a full day. Like they are hot all day. You just got to work them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make them run.
Yeah.
Like, man, yeah, Lakers crazy. Like, I took Aaron up for her first time last year. In the first couple days, we had the chasers. Not good luck. Not good luck. Missed a few. Last day, she was just hooking them like crazy. And that bait cloud in the bottom, they weren't even chasing. Like, she would start just bringing it up and just smacking in there. Like she got on like crazy. Like put on free lesson for me, anyways.
Yeah, I remember you posting about that.
It is insane. She totally schooled me. And
I found a new favorite color.
Oh, the purple.
Yeah, light kokanee.
Yeah, the purple, eh?
Oh,
Now,
they
BJ, what are you using for a rod there?
so
I
this
mean,
is
a lot of people like Lakers fight tough.
yeah.
So,
This is a 42-inch Widowmaker from 13 Fishing, medium heavy.
okay.
They're my go-to rods, the Widowmaker line. But more importantly, the reel. It's a Daiwa Fuego LT 2500.
Good drag system.
Yeah, they're a great drag system. They're a 6-to-1. So while I'm reeling nice and slow and smooth and having that consistent rhythm, my lure is actually moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Where if you have a lower ratio, you're actually trying to reel, and that's where you lose that finesse pattern and rhythm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
And like that's a lot of times, like when you see those reels that okay, you'll see a reel in Canadian Tire and it'll be, I don't know, say $80, and it's an 8-ball bearing reel, and you go, oh, that's got to be good, but it's only 3-to-1, and you got to remember that because it's gonna be a super slow reel. Like,
yeah, exactly.
no, I'm not into bait casters. Obviously, they can move really, really quick, and you can kind of tune them. But I do like how fast the or sorry, not how fast, but how much the technology is kind of coming along in the spinning reels. Like a 6-to-1, that's really nice. A lot of mine are 5-to-1. So Daiwa does make really nice reels. Grandpa instilled that in me since I was a little kid.
That is worth the money, that reel, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I run TC motos and I'll run power bait.
Yeah.
I love power bait. Power bait tubes. I'll run a Northland skirt underneath it just for that extra color. Or I'll just get these squid glows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And just cut the fit, like you put them over your jig and have them out, so you got the glow right behind them. Like I stocked up at the fishing hole the other day when I was down in Calgary picking up some stuff, just so I have tails and the power baits. Like when I was in northern Saskatchewan, those power baits and the Northland skirts for spin baits and stuff.
Yep.
Perform so good, man. It was ridiculous. I caught some hogs.
Any type of paddle tails in the summer. Berkeley makes some great ones. Storm. Any of those paddle tails. Just get that action, keep reeling, make them smack it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Lexi's Lures tubes. I need some Lexi's Lures quick strikes. I'm gonna probably message you either like Wednesday or Thursday or something. I'll get in touch with you, Greg, because I definitely need some of those. Russell will be upset.
Everybody does.
I'm using a lot of TC Moto because they've been sending me a bunch of the new colors to try out, specifically for Cold Lake Lakers, because that's kind of their biggest market.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like some of the colors are just amazing, right? Like you can go through them nonstop and all of them are catching fish. So
yeah,
good fishery.
Like the TC Moto, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's white. It's like glow white with like some silver flake in it, and then like a red skirt off the back of it. That one's always been money for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I always like the green or the orange tails.
Yeah.
Erin loves the pickles. She slayed on the pickles. It was ridiculous.
That's mine and my son's favorites too. Last in the summer were the pickles.
Yeah. They're hot. They're always hot.
Yeah,
Can't get away from them.
If you don't want to spend the money on a TC Moto, there's lots of different alternatives. There's
absolutely a plain tube is one of my favorites. Honestly,
plain tube. One of the biggest secrets to that lake too is the tube jigs only work during like the hottest times, during the good bites. Every other time you got to downsize, go to even just a jig head with a Parker minnow, but make sure it has a strong shank.
Yeah, big stout hook is very important. I like the Berkeley Fusion 19s. Like those got a sick black nickel hook on them. They're super, super strong.
For lake trout, there's only one jig head I use, and they are the 1/4 ounce or the 3/8 ounce Umbrella jigs, jig heads.
Umbrella?
You look them up. You can't bend them with a plier. They're so strong.
Yeah,
I've had some of the jigs just fold, right? And
yeah, like I'm not in.
they just have a hard mouth.
Man, even this weekend, rainbows, I was bending hooks
Yeah.
on just well, they're probably like a size 12 hook, but those rainbows were just so chunky, and it was like one after another.
Well, stock trout like to give a lot of head shakes, right? They like to turn and they'll like give up for a minute and then they turn and pull. And a lot of times that's when I've had my jigs fail, is just still crack right in half at the bend. It's unfortunate. And lose a good fish, but got to be able to trust your product. So make sure you find the good stuff. I'll have to look up these. Is it Youngbrella or Umbrella?
Yum.
Umbrella. Okay.
Umbrella. Yeah, I've only ever found them online. I bought a 3 or 4 pack once.
Yep.
And I think I'm down to my last one actually.
Yeah.
I have my tripod sitting on that box right now, and I don't want to move it all around. But yeah, they're about I don't know, a good length, like a Parker Minnow length, like 2-inch, 1.5 inch. But the shank and the opening between the point and the shank is a really good opening, and you can't bend them.
Right on.
Take two pliers and they won't bend.
More like a snail kind of.
And
on the end,
very, very, very small kind of triangle. It's and like I said, when the bite dies down, I downsize and go to a very lightweight finesse presentation. There's not a single trout in the world that is gonna resist a falling minnow just fluttering to the bottom. So
and now when you're fishing Lakers, obviously you're gonna get into some burbs, and I mean I fish burbs quite a bit more than I fish Lakers. They'll bend your hook out no problem. So you got to have good gear for that, right? And that's one thing I learned early on about fishing them is you got to be able to have that. So you're kind of mixing both worlds. You got to have strong gear up there no matter what you're fishing for.
But if you guys want, I'll go over my bait setup too. What I do with how do I bait those Lakers?
Yeah, for sure. I need all the dead baits I can get tips.
I learned this method on YouTube, right? Like we're all those guys learning from other guys and different methods. But this is just a slide rig. Where am I there? Just a bullet with some beads.
Yeah.
Goes to, hold on, it's hard to do this backwards, but it just goes to a swivel, just exactly like a sturgeon rig.
Yeah.
And then 1.5 to 2 feet to a snelled gamakatsu.
Yeah.
And then just lay it on bottom and let your bail stay open.
Yeah, and then they can pick it up. They won't have any resistance.
Yeah. Yeah, just let it sit on bottom. They take away the bait. And this weekend, all we did was, like, I put one of them with a full herring, never got touched. I took herring, like I bought a pack of large, extra large, and I filleted them just like a walleye. And then I cut that each side into 2 or 3 strips.
So you're just using tiny strips. Oh man, guys, listen, if you guys are competing in this tournament and you're not listening right now and writing stuff down, you're crazy.
That's but I'm pretty sure like a lot of guys are fishing. Everybody that I see that knows how to fish that lake does that. Like but
it's all dead bait.
It's dead bait.
They're just trolling the bottom, those big fish. You're dragging bottom, the same as the summer. You get away from the smaller fish, you go off into the trenches, you go away from all the activity, and you drag bottom. That's where you're catching big Lakers.
What do you guys think will be at the top of the leaderboard come the end of the tournament? How
like
big?
Size?
Yeah, like length. I don't weigh fish very often.
34. Yeah, you don't. The 10 years ago, there was more bigger fish being caught there, but now, like in the last 5 years plus, I haven't seen anything bigger than a 34.
I
actually saw 136 from Weaver's Bent Rods there.
From Matt.
I
heard of a 42.
I was gonna say, like, there's got to be a 40 in there. No, like, what's the size limit on that lake? Like, sorry, what's the keep limit?
There's some
keep limits. 1 over what?
You can keep 1 over 75, but the problem with that lake is just like any stocked trout lake. Before they stock them, so early ice early water when the ice just gets off and they're just the 1 or 2+ year resident fish there.
Yeah,
it's easy to catch big fish, and then they stock them, and you spend all day sorting through tiny trout to get your one big trout. I find cold lakes like that. There's thousands and thousands of these little trout that are picking up your bait and hitting you and chasing you so fast that none of these bigger fish. So like they were saying, you got to get away from the crowds, get away into the deeper trenches, go somewhere where maybe it's not going to have the numbers.
Yeah, because you're not like, in my opinion, if I'm going lake trout fishing, I'm not going lake trout fishing for numbers. I'm going lake trout fishing for like 1 or 2 fish that are a trophy.
You know what? For you, that's what, a 6-hour trip, if not maybe more.
Yeah, that's a lot more.
Yeah,
like
well, we're even south of Canada. Yeah, so you're probably even 8 to 10 or something maybe.
Yeah, it's like 8.5 or 9.
it's 5 from Red here.
So 8.5 to 9, one nice one would be nice, but also 10 would also be nice, right? So there's that give and take of numbers versus reward on a trip. How much are you allowed to spend without your wife? How many?
Yeah,
none. You spend how much and you got nothing? Okay, that's it. Right?
You can be on Lake Winnipeg pretty much the same time that you drive.
Yeah,
from
see, I can be on Clearwater Lake in Manitoba, and literally it's like 30 minutes more, and I can be at Baker's Narrows in another hour. So
yeah, then why would you go to cold?
yeah, like Fort Peck is 5 hours from me down in Montana. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I want to go. He said it at the end there, maybe 14-inch perch. No, please, 14-inch perch. Tiger striped fish. I'm going fishing for them this weekend, I think. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. I always say I'm going to do it, and then I bail on it. I don't know what it is about perch. I never fish them. I always think that I want to fish them, and I never do it. But they are super cool when they get giant.
I'm going to be that guy, too. There's a difference between northern 13-inchers and southern 13-inchers.
That's the thing. So Ricky, he's I think he's in BC now. But Ricky always told me, he's always like, you'll never catch anything over 14 inches in the south. He's like, it'll never happen in your entire life. He's like, have fun with that. And
but even still, the class difference, like some of these. Hey, Amber, like Greg, some of these guys that dedicate a lot of time to perch, they're fucking holding true NFL-sized footballs. Like, they're rounder than they are longer. Yeah. And then you get like abundance perch where you can get a bunch of 12s and 13s, but they're really thin, longer. They're not round and thick. They're not that old generation.
Yeah.
Yep. And I really want I don't want like a 14-inch skinny one, but I want something giant, because like you say, those ones that they're catching up north, like you see some of them guys holding them, and they're just slobs, man. They're absolute slobs.
Yeah. No, up north perch, fun.
I've been doing some research. I got an idea. I think there is some in southern Alberta.
I think there used to be. I know some lakes.
I think you're right.
I think they're there.
I don't think there's the population of fishermen targeting them down there to make them that popular.
Absolutely. BJ is 100% correct. Down south has probably the least pressure in the entire province.
Yeah. I've actually heard recently of a buddy going to a trout pond down there and catching a really large perch while targeting trout. And it was a surprise.
Yeah, hey. And that's the thing, is like they seem to be showing up in trout ponds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my dad was out 2 weekends ago and they caught a couple 12s out of a trout pond, which is very respectable for a trout pond in central Alberta.
It's just what they're eating that's going to make them a freak or just a 14, right? Like,
yeah.
Up north, I'm not sure what they eat up north, but I have a couple lakes down here that are like big time freshwater shrimp lakes, and I think that's
Yeah.
what's going to make the difference.
Definitely
Is freshwater shrimp compared to eating bugs off bottom or what have you, they just can't get big fast enough.
Yeah, but
That's like,
genetics is a thing too. You know, there's some like there's one my buddy caught a long time ago. I have a picture of it laying beside a propane bottle, and it
Yeah.
looks like 3 of those green propane bottles.
Yeah, hey.
It wasn't even that long. It was maybe 13 and 3/4, almost 14. But yeah, they're just so round. It's crazy.
Super skunk.
And it's, yeah, the food, but genetics is a big part of it too.
Absolutely. You definitely have to have good genetics.
yeah,
I think that's with any fish. And like that's what I was kind of wanting to get into with with the lake trout on cold. You're saying like it's been a while since you've heard of a fish over 34. Like Mitch, you said you did hear over 42. With a 75-cent size limit, I'm off the top of my head, that's somewhere around 27 inches, 27.5.
29 and a half.
Oh, so that's even bigger than I was thinking.
which should be a throwback fish, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's
So-
the whole quality of the lake.
Yeah, so that needs to be somewhere near 22 to 24, in my opinion. I don't know, like maybe smaller. Like I don't know my lake trout well enough to be speaking on this, right? But it obviously needs to come down, right?
I think
Yeah.
it should be the same as most walleye, 50 to 55.
Yeah, definitely. They taste way better. They're not big and greasy.
That's the thing is every lake trout that I've ever eaten in Alberta has always been like quite small, but they're
Yeah.
amazing. They
Yeah.
taste unreal.
Abraham Lake, you catch like perfect pan fryer just from shore,
Yep.
throw it up. One of Erin's favorite. Like first time she caught lake trout, we went to Abraham. We camped right on the lake, caught one, brought it up for supper, just like an appetizer, and it's her favorite. Like they're not greasy at that size, but once you get into that bigger size lake trout, depending on where
They're
it's
growing
from,
so slow at that point. Like I do know stuff about lake trout. They're growing so slow at that point that like keeping that fish is absolutely detrimental to that lake. Like
For sure.
a 30-inch fish has to go back there.
The fact that us uneducated guys that didn't take the biology class on lake trout know this stuff,
Yeah.
and the guys running it don't, right? Like it drives me nuts.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to try to get on those forums. I know they are frustrating. I mean, I've tried to sit in on some of those online meetings. Excuse me. And I know they are frustrating and they can be slow and you can feel unheard, but guys, just keep going because we gotta do something. Otherwise, like lakes like that will never be trophy caliber fisheries like they easily could be. There's
And
no reason Cold Lake shouldn't produce a 40 easily every year that you see.
Yeah. In the last couple of years, they've been taking our opinions more, and asking questions and going to the public more. But yeah, pro NHL product development, they ask McDavid what works, like they ask the professionals what, and
Yeah.
it's
They
about
don't ask
time,
Wayne Gretzky anymore because he's old and outdated.
but it's about time they start like getting the proper information from the people that are spending the money in the sport and spending the time on the sport.
Absolutely.
that's what's happening, I think. This
Yeah.
week,
And I hope
they
so.
have-
Because
they have-
a proactive response is always better than a reactive one, right?
they have all those sit-ins this week. I believe it starts this week for the northern and southern and everything. So check out your ACA site for dates. I believe it's ACA is putting those on. I'm not 100%, but you can search Alberta. What the heck was it?
I'm pretty sure My Wild Alberta also shares a lot of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I think that I've seen it from.
I'm pretty sure it starts like within the next couple days, like the 20th.
Just pay attention, guys. Make sure your voice is heard because like it's super important. Otherwise, it'll be like the same people with the same opinion constantly. And like BJ said, who are the guys putting in time? Who are the guys who are there doing the work constantly every single not every single day. Like we obviously work too, but I mean, who are the guys who are constantly out there seeing these fisheries year to year to year to year and seeing the decline? Because I can see fisheries myself that have gotten significantly better in the past 4 years, and I can see fisheries that have gotten significantly worse in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
I think it's
So both ends of the spectrum.
Guys like Mitch that guide on a certain lake consistently throughout a year, year after year, that's where the real numbers come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what with that new guiding license is going to happen, because they're going to ask you how many days you're on the lake. From what I've got from it, how many days you're in the lake, how many fish did you catch? So hopefully that'll bring something to the board. But like, I'm not really guiding any lakes in central Alberta anymore, just because I have a level I want to be at always. Like, I can't take someone out and be like, there's a couple fish. There you go. I'm not that person. I want to see your face excited as my face when you catch a nice fish. So I've been doing more fly fishing and stuff out west in different areas, just because those fisheries are a little more maintained, a little better. And I know there's a class that will make people, like, they come there for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to guide, if I want to pay money, I want to catch a fish that a guide should get you, right? That's just who I am.
Right.
I don't want someone to be disappointed in their trip out that they paid their hard-earned money for.
See, and like a lot of the trips that I do for Get Hooked, I'm an extra boat as well for like a corporate trip where it's just a bunch of guys that want to go out and drink beer and just catch numbers all day and sit back, right? So there's like both those types, right? But it's like,
oh, absolutely.
See, numbers.
Spending some days out on those rivers and creeks out west, targeting some trout with clients, though.
Yeah, numbers are good. Like, at least you have that activity. But there's certain people you talk to, over the phone, they're like, this is what I kind of want. Yeah. And if I can't give that to them, I'll be like, okay, here's somebody in this area, because I get contacts that want to go up north, down south. Then I give it to someone I know down there, and I'm like, here, try this guy, because he knows the area. She knows the area. Whoever's in the area that is that awesome person, right? That's going to put people on those fish that they're looking for. But some people, like you said, just want to get out and have fun, catch fish, have a nice barbecue for lunch. And
right. And some people need to like just learn. Like, I mean, I taught myself how to fly fish. It's an ongoing thing. Like I suck at it. But like 5 years later, like I'm still learning. Like, honestly, what I should be doing is booking with a guide just so that I can have that day with the guide where he's like, okay, this is why your cast is not proper right now. This is, oh, you should have been mending there. Why didn't you mend there? Or what have you, right? And just back to like the kind of whole getting involved thing. Like the fly fishing community is like honestly probably one of the best at it, and that's why the West is so well maintained. Is because they are such an outspoken group. So like everyone's kind of got to match that with everything that they feel is as important, because it all is as important.
Yeah, a high amount of ethics as well.
Absolutely. Like maintaining a certain standard, and like it doesn't have to be the same for everyone. Like, just because like I want to catch a caliber of fish that is up here, maybe like I know so many people that every single fish that they catch is like, whoa, and I'm like,
like a lot of the trips we do are also like Dreamcaster Society. People in wheelchairs, people haven't fished, blind, young kids. I do lots, right? Like, and I get that crowd of people that don't know how to fish that want to learn.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, nobody's hiring the Conrad brothers to learn how to reel. you and I are hiring those guys to find out where, how, when, right? And getting that massive fish. But nobody's going to pay trophy guiding money to go out and learn how to operate a spin reel.
Right. And like seeing that is like I was saying, like seeing people who are excited about every fish, like a lot of times I'm just like, man, I'm jaded, or like whatever it is, like whatever the terminology is for it, is like, it's so sick seeing people. Like that's why I almost love seeing people catch fish more than I like catching them myself now, is because like just that level of excitement is just so awesome to see, man. And like even like people learning how to cast. Like I seen Amber was on here, her son there. She's always posting videos of him, and like over the past couple of years, like that kid can cast wicked now. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And like seeing their excitement about the sport, like that's super sweet. 40 on the fly, that's epic.
Yeah. I wish I did more trout for guiding. Like, you know, I love trout fishing, and I don't do any guided trout trips because I'm operating through a company that hires out the trips and has a niche, you know, and that's what they do. But yeah, I'd love to get on some trout with some clients.
Man, trout fishing out west is so, super sick, and like with this weather, it makes me miss it, man. But I love ice fishing, so
yeah, it's since I bought a boat, it's a little bit hard and a little bit less motivating to go hike creeks, but I miss it and I want to do it more.
It's a blast. I love it so much, man. Like I love just taking my fly rods, like, and like I'm not like I love spin casting too, but lately I've just like been super just into just taking fly rods and hanging out on the creeks, and like that is just a super blast to me. Learning, being horrible, getting my flies stuck in the tree behind me, like it's all super fun.
You spend a lot of time targeting small fish too.
Well, that's the thing.
I think you're targeting those minnows, like micro fishing.
So yeah, like, and like that's the thing is like, so I had Todd down and Marcy down this year, and they're literally catching, like they're casting and catching sturgeon, which is probably arguably the biggest fish in Alberta. Meanwhile, I'm like literally sitting there with my ice rod, and I'm like, watch me catch this minnow, watch me catch this minnow, and like so pumped every time I would get one, right? Because as everyone knows, minnows are pretty hard to get. Or well, they were pretty hard to get for a while there. So having my own was super sick. And I just
find it a whole other world. Like I have this micro pen rod, and it's literally designed for catching like minnows, and it's meant for like first aid kits and stuff, like survival kits.
Yeah.
I've taken it to my brothers and tried to catch like this invasive species that came in one of his live rocks.
Yeah.
And oh man, I'm like, it's a whole nother world of species.
Oh, dude. The hooks that I order, like to do that, like they're called Tanago hooks, and I got to get them out of Japan. Like they come on like fine little thread. Like they're quite expensive for what they are. But like, yeah, like BJ says, it's a whole nother world, man. And like, I'll be like jigging and I'll be catching these chubs and I'll be catching these chubs. And then it's like, oh, like this year it was like, oh, long-nosed dace. I've never caught that. Like, yes, man. Yes. I just caught a long-nosed dace. Realistically, it's this big. Like, who, like,
we were out
stuck on that? Me.
Yeah, we were out going for cutties, and the bottom on my sonar was just moving. Like, I'm like, there's fish down there, but why aren't they biting? There's something down there. Went to the smallest presentation and caught like 75 to 100 chubs. Yeah. Turned out to be some of the best lake trout bait I've ever used. Like, perfect size and like natural, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm from Ontario, man. Chubs is like, and like, Mitch, you were in Minnesota. You were in Minnesota for a while, right? Like, or born there. Chubs is like a thing, man.
There's lots of chubs out here too. There's one lake I know out west full
but like using them as bait is a whole like big movement back there, like that we don't seem to have here at all, because back there everyone fishes
it's a different style.
They don't freeze good. They freeze horribly. Their bellies tend to kind of fall out if you thaw them and try to refreeze them. Their bellies are gone. So when you're using them live, back home, it's like everyone goes and they buys like red-tailed chub or like black-tailed chubs, red-tailed chubs. Like it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Here we got lake chubs. Like go get them, boys, and I swear to God, you'll thank me later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fellas. We're still giving away this Dakota lithium from our buddies at Backwoods. So, BJ, you gotta pick an emoji.
Oh,
Whoever gets the emoji first is entered in, and we only have one more week. Then we'll give if a person's didn't win twice, we'll just do a draw and see who wins that bad boy.
okay.
That's a pretty quick prize.
I just drew one on my paper here.
Are you good at drawing?
What's that?
Are you good at drawing?
I bet. I hope so.
I hope he can draw an emoji.
Does it have like a lazy eye and everything, and his tongue sticking out like up like this?
How do you type one though?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Okay, well I got one.
Okay, you drew it.
Yeah, I got one in my head too there. So
Just say what it is in case your drawing's a little sketchy.
Yeah,
Sure.
they got it because they got to enter it to whoever enters it first, right?
Are they entering it now?
Yeah, so whoever
live,
puts it in
man.
first gets entered.
Okay, so I can show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give her.
The tongue out emoji. Yeah, the tongue out one.
The tongue out
Side.
smiley guy. That's an easy one to get to, too. That's a fast one.
Oh,
Get on
man.
it, boys.
That was
It
so
can't
easy.
It's going to be Greg.
Oh, there's a pukey one.
Uh-oh. Someone hit the wrong one.
It's the cash money puke, Aaron.
No, it's just the
Just
tongue
a
out.
smiley with the tongue out.
No, they can't find it.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Oh,
I'm going
Kit
to enter
got
it in our chat right now just so
Kit
that
got
I
it.
can be in this because I send this to, I mean,
Kit
I
got
never
it.
use this one. Boom. In.
Kit got her.
Yeah.
Kit got her. That's a
Yeah.
good man to get her, man.
Yeah.
Right on. Congrats, Kit. Who's in there now? Kit. Greg was in there last week.
And I have to go back a little further. But there's another guy in there.
Right on.
So what do you mail it out?
Yeah, at the end, next week will be the final entry. Then if no one's won twice, we'll do a draw. And then we'll mail out to whoever won.
That's a pretty wicked prize, man.
I'm gonna I'll add to this prize, bitch. Hold on here. Sorry. You see the Zebco rod holders? Let me get it right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty fancy.
I'll throw one of those in. I'll
Dang.
connect with you and you can grab it.
That's sick. Handy dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thanks, BJ. But that was a wicked episode, man. Learned a lot of stuff about Lakers. I'm excited to eventually go fish some. I think me and Todd got a planned trip to Manitoba at some point, but the regulations keep going like this, so I don't really know.
And
If
they
you ever come up this way, let me know.
Will do.
Open it.
For sure, BJ. I definitely want to fish with you, Chris, and Greg. Like, obviously, probably just drive straight past Mitch's house, but that's not a big deal.
That's okay. Pretty dead here.
But no, I definitely, I'll let you know if I come up there because I'd love to, man. Be super fun.
Sure.
Get into some of those tank perch. And I mean, it's not like I'm totally against Cold Lake. I mean, I definitely love to fish it. I mean, Lakers are a blast regardless, so.
If there was access to better access to better Lakers closer, I would be all over it. But I just
Yeah,
don't think
they're such a cool fish, man.
yeah, you just can't get a better fishery for being so close to a big major center, like endless
Right,
amount of
right. Like, I mean, you see some odd good ones come out of the bow, but I mean, being able to go and even catch 25 inches or 20 inches even is a riot, man. Like, there's a lake down here that I fish, and like the average size is only 20 inches. Like, I mean, they're all small fish, but they taste great. And it's just a super fun day to keep you busy, and
yeah,
just hammer fish.
for sure.
So, I mean, like we talked earlier, bull trout are very similar. I do love bulls. Bulls are a blast, and they seem to fish an awfully similar. So
I was
I'll be getting
actually
after some of them soon.
I was thinking about going for them this weekend, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah, Bulls and Lakers, they're kind of hand in hand. The only difference is wherever there's a bull, there's no bait, pretty much. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for numbers of bulls for sure. There'll be a odd bull in a couple lakes, it seems, but
yeah,
if you want to get after them, it's going to be a plain Jane tube or a
Yeah.
plain Jane. One thing that I really like, paddle tails. Paddle tails through the ice have been super good. And like, I don't plug anyone because I'm not associated with anyone. But Frostbite came out with that Dragon Slayer and the Derby Slayer and the Mini Slayer. Just how soft the plastic is. It has so much movement up and down. It is super sick. So for a lot of our stock trout lakes, like brookies, rainbows, tigers, like those are a money bait to be using. And they come in a variety of colors, so it's super sick.
I just did my first frostbite order, and man, are those things ever nice?
Yeah, dude, they're super nice. Honestly, like, so I'll be completely 100% honest. I ordered from Frostbite when they came out, thinking AP, Aaron, and I was like super disappointed, just super let down. And then I ordered again, and like the new rods are unreal. The Dinner Bell, unreal. Um, the Derby Slayer is what I mostly use, which is like the 92 mil. I don't use the big one. Um, great. So
hey
That's bad.
definitely
BJ,
step their game up.
I
BJ,
just sorry, go ahead.
how big is that lipless crank come in?
Oh man, you can get this. So I made a
You can get that
mistake.
in a 102.
You can get these in 100 millimeter, like
Yeah,
full
bro.
giant Laker size, man. So I was out and I ordered the small trout size ones and the next size up. And then I was out with my buddy and he pulls this one out. It was huge. I was like, Jesus, man, like that. And then I was like, yeah, man, I want those for lake trout.
Yeah,
These
bro.
tantrums, I was quite impressed with like the sound, the movement.
And watching some videos, like, I mean, watching Clayton use them, watching Aaron use them, like that 100 mil, like it hammers fish, man. And it's not like it's just hammering big fish. It's the movement, it's the vibration. Lake trout especially have like super lateral, like their
Yeah.
lateral feeling is crazy. So when they feel that, they're coming at it and they want to kill it. They just don't want it around. That's it. So yeah, like I gotta get some of those 100 mils. I don't know what I'll use them for. Maybe some pike. Maybe I'll lose them.
Yeah, honestly, like those guys are paid to use them and this and that, but like they're also using them because they love them. They're
Yeah,
out there just like you and I. They want to catch that big fish no matter what it takes.
right. And that's why I say like I'm not associated with anyone. Right? Everyone knows. Like I'll give my honest opinion of what I feel about something. And like the frostbite stuff, super sick this year. I used a 50-inch running gun a whole bunch this weekend. Unreal rod.
I
Just
hear you got some. I hear you got some strong opinions on some tungstens.
I do. I mean, if you don't want to use good product, I mean, don't sell it for premium prices, and then don't come at me online running your mouth.
No, no, but that it's
More drama, BJ.
Adam just doesn't care anymore. Adam says, "You want to come at me, bro. I don't care, man."
Honestly, though, I've had the highest quality stuff crap out, and then I've bought cheap stuff that I love. Right, so it's
Yeah,
all over.
absolutely, and that's why it's always important to like, like speak and give constructive criticism, guys. Because like you don't have to be a dickhead. And I know I come off like a dickhead, but it's because I gave the constructive criticism chance. And if you want to dismiss that, well, we can run with it.
Man,
Um,
That's like all of us. We're always testing new stuff. As soon as
Yeah, like
it's
things
like
break,
you see
guys.
something new, it's like, oh, I better get one of
Especially
those.
because, like, we fish in extreme temperatures. A lot of this stuff is made in the States, guys. Like, you got to remember that it's made for like -10, not -30, not -40, not -50. So things are gonna break. So
Yeah,
you can't
for
just
sure.
be disappointed because something breaks. Like I say, I got an ugly stick antenna. A lot of these rods that you see right here are ugly stick rods for fishing sturgeon or bait fishing or what have you. I 100% believe in the product. Sometimes things fail. Sometimes you can't control it, but
Here's a good example of that. I broke 2 Fenwick HMX rods this summer, and I went and just replaced them with the same rod. I like the rod. I like the feel. It was user air. Chris Costa made me break one of them one day.
I would
We
bring
were,
Chris for
we were
absolutely anything if he was out there. Just kidding.
no, we were taking pictures, and he's like, lift it up with the hook in it, and I'm like, my rod snaps. I'm like, damn it. Second one that year, the same rod, but again, I knew what happened. I broke them both times. User
Absolutely.
error. Yeah, even though
And I mean, even like lines. How often does line just I mean, I've bought spools of mono of I think it's brand new, but it's absolutely just junk. You go to tie a knot, breaks.
all of these back here are pretty much Fenwick Elite Techs. I have like
Which
5
are
of them.
great rods, hey?
I got their HMX rods. I've got a couple St. Croix Avid rods, which those ones like my kids can't touch. Those are my rods. They're too expensive, and but you get used to a feel. You get used to a finesse, and you get to that point where you just want nicer things that feel better and make the job easier.
What are you
Absolutely.
what are you even talking about now, BJ?
Yeah. Well, Pitt said Fenwick rods. He likes Fenwick rods.
Fenwick rods.
I love
Okay.
The Elite Tech is actually super nice. I have the 42-inch medium heavy. I really like that rod.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the Elite Tech ice rods lately, and I want to grab some.
Oh, dude, they're beauties. Give them a run for sure, 100%.
I'm a big fan of 13 fishing. Like this one here, the dead stick rod I've got. Like I like a lot of their rods, but I want to get a couple more. I need a couple specific rods.
I see a lot of guys run like really nice rods on jaw jackers, and I have broken. Guys, you got to remember this. A lot of times now, there's fiberglass rods available. That's what you want to run in a jaw jacker. Much softer. Stop blowing up carbon rods or graphite rods and jaw jackers like I do. I'm not genius, and sometimes I walk over and I look at those nice rods and there's a splinter sitting like this. Yeah. So I've adjusted to using ugly sticks in those too. Man, I love ugly stick ice rods. They're super fun.
I've always had my this is my go-to jaw jacker rod. It's an Abu Garcia.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has this white and black combo. It was pretty cheap, like $70, maybe $60 one time, but
Abu makes great stuff.
Yeah, I don't like jigging with it because it's got a metal kind of handle and your hand gets cold. So I just use it as a jaw jacker rod.
There you go.
Yeah, I run a 1 clam for a jaw jacker rod, then ugly sticks too.
A clam rod?
Yeah, I have a clam that's a real nice jaw jacker rod, strong backbone and good flex.
Yeah,
it snaps good.
Yeah,
I got one of the frostbite dipsticks, and I was thinking about putting that because I'm going perch fishing. I was like, I'll put it in the jaw jacker because I really like my tickle sticks for like I have a couple of 39 light tickle sticks for fishing perch and like stock trout, and I really like those rods. But I was like, no, I can't even though it is fiberglass, I can't even put that rod in a jaw jacker. I'll feel horrible for doing that. Ricky, we were talking about you earlier, big perch dude.
We were talking about
the perch machine.
Yeah, man. I hope Ricky's doing good, man. Ricky, he always says he goes to this horseshoe lake and he'll be like, "You weren't there, bro." He'll like randomly send it to me. It kills me every time, man.
Yeah, awesome angler, awesome cook.
Good guy, man. Good guy all around.
Hopefully his venture goes good in BC. He's missed in Alberta for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we still watch them out here. We love them out here.
Yeah.
The fish
Well-
don't listen.
The fish are happy that he's gone.
Yeah.
The fish are happy he's gone.
There's a few more walleye swimming around Buck Lake today. Let's just say that.
And perch, probably. But,
All those are long gone.
yeah. I
That's
think
what you say.
last time we got some good perch out of there was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
13.
thing is like you hear these perch lakes, they come and they go and then they come back. It seems like they come back, don't they? Or am I wrong saying that?
Yeah,
It
it's
seems
the
like
cycle.
they cycle.
Alberta will stock with walleyes. When they restock, that means perch fishing is getting better for a couple of years. Then when they get up to that level of good walleye, the perch are down again. And it's just this cycle. But
Funny.
that's the way she goes.
Yeah.
Well, boys,
I think that was a lot of fun. I appreciate BJ coming on. I mean, me and BJ have sent messages back and forth to each other. It was really cool to actually talk with you, man.
Yeah, for sure. You too, Adam. Thanks for having me on, Mitch.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
no, great show. Stay on after, and we'll maybe bullshit some more.
For sure.
Absolutely. We always do.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Thanks to everyone who
watched.
watched. It's good seeing everyone's comments. Always appreciate everyone putting up with my
thanks for watching.
silliness.
Next week, we got some new tips, new tricks, and stay tuned because who knows what it's going to be.
And someone might go home with a Dakota lithium battery, which is pretty cool because I like batteries and I seem to have a lot of battery packs, and that would be another one to add to the collection, even though I'd not entered.
Hopefully your guys can draw better.
Someone is going home with it next week.
That's killer.
So, yeah, we got that and the rod holder, and
Yeah.
we'll figure that out.
I'll send you a message and we'll connect here this week, Mitchell.
Yeah,
One of these times, remind me, and I gotta bring my rod holder for in my ice shack on. It's literally like the most clutch thing to have in your ice shack when you're doing like overnights. When you're like me and you have like 5 or 6 different rods that you're constantly using, like switching back and forth between.
These things are quite nice. I ran into a couple of them and yeah, they're quite nice.
It's handy, man.
I've got like
a good idea.
I've got the 13 fishing display rack from the fishing hole.
There you go.
So and I don't even use that anymore, right? So I think I'm selling that to a guy in Saskatchewan.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Right on. Great
All right,
episode.
guys.
That was sick.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Stay on. We'll talk after.
For sure.
Everyone else, cheers. We'll see you next week.
Peace, guys.
Peace.